everyone, I'm Mind, and I just got a package in the mail from Skybound Entertainment. They're the company that's making the Garmadon comic series, and they sent me issues 2 and 3 of the Garmadon comic. I meant to buy these a few months ago, but I don't really have a comic shop near me, and I never really got around to getting them myself, but apparently Skybound meant to send them out to everybody and then they forgot, so now issues 2 and 3 are finally here, so I thought why not finally talk about them on the channel. The Garmadon comic is something I've been super interested in, it's just unfortunate I hadn't been able to find a way to buy it. But yeah, I want to make this video to talk about issues 2 and 3, what I thought of them, what my predictions are for the next issues. So here's a real quick look at the 4 covers they sent me. So I believe this is the standard cover for issue 2, this is the alternate cover for issue 2, then we have the standard cover for issue 3, and then we have the alternate cover for issue 3. I like this one a lot because it's, inspired by season 2. It's got all the snakes around Garmadon. That's a lot of fun. I like seeing them in the comic art style. But before I get into the comic itself, I do want to mention, I'm currently on vacation as you guys are watching it. I'm filming it before I left for vacation, but I'll be editing and uploading on vacation, so I don't have as much time dedicated to editing. So this may not be the most visually interesting video, it's pretty much just going to be you guys looking at these 3 comics, and occasionally my hands will appear on frame. So feel free to put the audio in the background and do something else while you're listening. This is just going to be me talking to you guys about this comic. So, issue 2 I really enjoyed. Again, just like the first issue, I felt like it was too short. I really wish these comics were longer on the whole. But it was cool to see Garmadon actually fight a big threat on its own. I guess to summarize the plot of the comic for people who haven't read it, Garmadon is with some of the villagers and they're tracking down Kuma, who's the leader of the bears, because Kuma's been attacking the humans who've been trying to get the flowers to make 2 Moon tea, and 2 Moon tea is the type of tea that increases elemental power, including Garmadon's power. So yeah, they go track down the bears, there's a huge bear there, and Garmadon fights it and takes it down. But then they learn that's actually not Kuma, that was just a random big bear, because the actual Kuma is like stories tall, and Garmadon actually ends up getting swallowed, but then he drinks some 2 Moon tea and transforms into his Oni form, which was very cool to see, and is able to take down Kuma by the end. During this also, Lord Mogra enters the village, and leaves a message for Garmadon, though we don't know what the message is yet until issue 3. So it does leave a lot of questions. But yeah, I thought the fight scene between Garmadon and the bears was very cool. Kind of felt bad for the bears, but I guess that's kind of the point, because Garmadon is this villainous character. It was cool to see Garmadon, like, struggling with his inner self, because there's this whole dialogue between him and, like, the Emperor version of him, where the Emperor version of him is announcing, like, I am the source of your power. And it was cool to see him in his Oni form again. It's kind of funny they used Garmadon's Oni form from March of the Oni and not from Crystallized. I'm curious if they're actually going to show that change in the comics, because these comics are probably going to tie directly into the beginning of Crystallized, which is very exciting. Oh, and I forgot to mention, the very start of this comic's really good too. It shows an interaction between Wu and Garmadon right after the end of March of the Oni, and it turns out the hat that Garmadon is wearing in these comics is actually Wu's hat, and Garmadon actually gave up his helmet at the end of March of the Oni. So yeah, I feel like I don't have a ton more to say about it. It's mostly just a fight scene with the bears. But I am enjoying it. I'm seeing more about Garmadon's character. I especially love the inner dialogue and the conversation with Wu. I guess it made me feel like I more understood Garmadon's struggles. But the action was cool, and I'm still very curious about like what's going on with Lord Mogra. But I think that's about all I have to say for issue 2, so now let's get into issue 3. Okay, wow, I just finished reading issue 2, and it was really good. That's actually shocking, because, like, while I liked issue 1 and 2, I didn't feel super passionate about them. I was like, okay, that felt short, but, like, I'm excited for what happens next, but it just felt like I was waiting for what comes next. But this issue felt like it really ramped up, like there was really something happening here, and man, did I really enjoy it. So, it starts off, they're heading back to the village after defeating the bears, but then suddenly they notice the village is on fire. The village is being invaded by the Red Crows, who we learn are actually the former sons of Garmadon. We knew Ultraviolet was working for the Red Crows, but no, apparently the entire crew of the Red Crows is entirely the Sons of Garmadon. We also see Kilo here and a few other just like generic SOG grunts, but obviously all their colors have been swapped out from purple to red. And then we get this like really heartbreaking story about how the SOG are in prison and they're waiting for Garmadon to save them, but then they hear on the news that Garmadon went and helped the ninja instead, and the ninja were meant to be the enemy of the SOG, but instead Garmadon helped the ninja and didn't help the SOG. So they felt betrayed, but then one day Lord Mogra came and saved them, and that's why they work for Lord Mogra now. And then there's this awesome fight scene between Garmadon and Lord Mogra, and a lot of it is about the action, but the action in this comic is very cool. And when Lord Mogra drinks the 2 Moon tea, his beard turns from like gray to white and he sprouts wings out of his back. And the comic ends with him picking Garmadon up and flying him through the air. And they're like fighting in midair. They also imply that Lord Mogra is someone from Garmadon's past, because Lord Mogra says, "Don't you recognize my voice?" and Garmadon says, "No, but you're dead." And then that's where the comic ends. So it sounds like next comic we're probably going to learn who Lord Mogra's actual identity is. And I'm curious about that. Is this going to be an all-new character from Garmadon's past that we've never heard about? Or is this going to be an old character that we know about who's been revived as Lord Mogra? I have seen some theories online that maybe Lord Mogra is Samukai, which that would be interesting because of his relationship with Garmadon, where he tried to betray Garmadon, but then he died. However, I don't know how likely that is, because Samukai was a very goofy character, and that's like so long ago in Ninjago's history. It would be awesome if it was, but I don't know if that makes the most sense. But if it was like a current Ninjago character, who else could it be? Maybe like Klaus? I know Klaus isn't dead, but Garmadon thought Klaus was sent to the Cursed Realm, right? Did Garmadon even ever know about Klaus and like Skybound into the Dark Island? Because maybe he didn't. Maybe he never knew that Klaus came back, so maybe he thought Klaus died with the Cursed Realm. So Klaus is a cool theory, maybe? But yeah, I can't really think of anyone else that we know who would be significant to Lord Garmadon's history. Like, Kozu wouldn't have this personality. The Great Devourer is a snake. That would be pretty awesome if Lord Mogra was the physical embodiment of the Great Devourer. Like, she came back as a human. That would be awesome. Asphiri is obviously alive and also not Lord Mogra. The Overlord is the Crystal King, so I don't think it's the Overlord, though it would be kind of awesome if, like, this transitioned directly into Crystallized, and that's how Garmadon, like, knows to go seek out the ninja, because the Overlord's back, and it turns out the Overlord is Lord Mogra. That would actually be an interesting approach, but I don't think they'd do that. I think they're probably going to resolve the Lord Mogra plotline in the comics and not bring it over into the main show. And then, yeah, after that, the only other character that, like, would be evil and that Garmadon's had a relationship with would be Omega. And I don't think that one's likely, especially since, like, this takes place right after March of the Oni. Like, he came back that quickly? No. So I think Samukai or Klaus would be my best bet if it's a character we know. However, I feel like it's most likely someone completely new. And it's just someone that Garmadon knows that we don't. But yeah, I absolutely love that issue. By far my favorite issue of the comic yet. And that actually gets me very excited for issue number 4. Thank you very much to Skybound for sending these to me, especially for sending the alternate covers. They did not need to do that. Let me know in the comments if you guys have read the Garmadon comics. If you haven't, I highly recommend them. And stay tuned, because when issue 4 comes out, I'll be making a video about that. Hopefully Skybound will send it to me, and if not, I'll go buy it myself. Because yeah, now that we're at issue 3, I'm invested. I need to know what happens next, so if they don't send it to me, I will be like trying my very best to get that day 1. But I think that's about all I have to say for this video. Let me know in the comments like what you guys thought of this format, which is me talking on top of these. I know it's not as edited or visually interesting as most of my videos, but I hope you guys still enjoyed. If you did, please press like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. I do LEGO and Ninjago videos just like this one almost every day, so if you subscribe, you'll be the first to see them. Thanks for watching everybody, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!